Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday. It's December 6th, 2023. Here we go once again. It's Wednesday. Where's Tommy's message? Tommy usually puts on before I even get on here live. Where's he at today? Oh, I'm going to have to sneeze. I felt that one coming. There we go. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Tommy. There he is. Good morning, Katie. Say good morning to Marcia. She says she's going to be on with us as well. And where's Miss Jackie? Miss Jackie is usually here on Wednesday. There's Kelly. Good morning, Kelly. Thank you, Katie. There we go. Say hi to Marcia. Marcia's here. Marcia. So, where's Dave been? Dave's been on and off. Hey, let's see. Can I do this right? No, I can't do this right. Look at. Do you notice over there? If you've been watching for a while, there's been a lot of papers there. Yesterday, I took care of filing 3 state taxes because we had to do. I, of course, have to do monthly Indiana, and we do little to no business in Indiana now. It was because of the Pinners Conference, and we did the Christmas. We used to do the Christmas boutiques out in Indiana, and so then we went to filing monthly there. And now we're not doing business there, but I still have to go through the dog and pony show of filing every month and telling them basically we're not doing business there. And filed for Iowa's because after or starting today, you can see I'm dressed up again. I go out to Jordan Creek and I'm out there until Christmas. So I had to get the state taxes all taken care of. I got Kansas. Don't you worry, Scott. Good morning, Scott. I have put the check in the mail for the Holiday Boutique in Kansas so that you guys can get your roads fixed and do whatever you're going to do with that money. So that money is on its way. And then I went through and cleaned out the mailbox. The mailbox was full. There was a lot of trash in there. Took care of paying bills. Thus, you can see, whoops, look at, there's no papers there. I took care of paying a lot of bills yesterday. And so a lot of checks got written, a lot of people got paid, and we're going to have to go to the stores and make some money again. Oh boy. Good morning, Marie. How are you doing? And you know what? Look at, where's Rusty? Rusty, of course, got me up this morning to get his treat. But then usually I get ready and then he follows me back downstairs. He didn't follow me back downstairs this morning. So I don't know what the deal is because it's usually our routine. He always follows me back downstairs. He wants me to sit in the chair. And then while I'm getting the setup for this program ready, he's on my lap. He's pawing at me. I don't know. Maybe because I was here all day yesterday, he got his fill of me because I spent most of yesterday sitting in this chair with Rusty on my lap. And then Becky got home and then he got out of my lap, went to see her, get treats from her. And then he was right back on my lap. It's like he spent the whole day on my lap. How much more time does he need there? No, I think he got his fill of me yesterday. Thing is, I tried to give him as much attention yesterday because starting today, he ain't going to see me much except at night. He's not going to be happy. Okay, one more thing. Just those of you who I went on my little diatribe yesterday talking about my basketball coaching. The national championship has been played. We were winning through the first half. I was up on Arizona by 8 at half. They came back, caught me, and then it was a dogfight. They hit a shot in the lane with 19 seconds to go. And he was fouled. And I didn't commit many fouls. I kept my foul count down because what I was worried about is usually he wins games with shooting a lot of foul shots. So what I tried to do is I tried to limit my fouling so he wouldn't get to the foul line very often. He didn't, but he still eked out a 3-point victory. My magical run has ended in the championship game. And Bethune-Cookman is your national runner-up. I can't put that on my resume, can I? I'm a runner-up again. Years ago, I coached Boston College, BC, to a second place finish before I was saved. You could say before Christ, BC. And then after finding God, I take another school, BC, Bethune-Cookman, to the national championship game and lose. Finished number 2 in the country. The school had never been ranked above 20. The school has played 205 seasons. There's more than one a year. To play 205 seasons, you got to have several seasons going on in a year. The games have run around for over 20 years, but you gotta accelerate the seasons. So 205 seasons. The school had only been ranked at the end of the season twice before. It was the biggest run the school had ever had in its history, and yet finished second. But one could say that second, the world would say we got to work at finishing first. But of course, we understand as followers of God that maybe second isn't so bad. That's what I'll say. So, there you go. I finished second in the nation. And now, and what I got to tell you is that my recruiting class coming in this next season, because what happens is that we start our recruiting process before the end of the season. And then after the season ends, we conclude. So we have kind of like 2 rounds of recruiting. So after my first round of recruiting, I have the number 6 ranked recruiting class in the nation, and Arizona, who beat me, has the number 5 class. So we could very well be meeting up once again. So then now we'll go to people can have opportunities to apply for new jobs, which with my recruiting class, I probably shouldn't apply for a new job unless it's a very attractive one, like a Duke, like a North Carolina, Kansas. Unless it's something really enticing, I'll probably, because with the 6th ranked recruiting class in the nation, unless it's a really good job, I pretty much got to stay another season. And then we'll begin the second round of recruiting, and we'll see what this run we had, if anybody will be willing to come to my college, because I still have 2 open scholarships. But that is the game. The game. It's like real life. When the football season ends, like it's wrapping up and they're heading to the bowl season, for coaches, their season never ends. Now you have the portal, in which I saw where like the Ohio State quarterback McCord is now entering the portal. There is now players that are entering the portal even before the bowl games. It's kind of interesting. I would think you would wait to enter the portal until after the bowl game, but now players are just getting into the portal right away. There's people that sit out the bowl games. I saw where Caleb Williams of USC, he's not even going to play in the bowl game. Don't want to get hurt. Don't want to ruin the NFL possibilities. And so it's a different game. Now players sit out, players transfer as soon as the season is, the regular season is over, but the bowl games just aren't what they used to be. You can remember last season, Iowa beat Kentucky, and Kentucky had a lot of guys that sat out. I guess it was a good thing they did, because Iowa otherwise may not have had a shot, because Iowa was kind of depleted themselves. So this year, you can only hope that Tennessee has a bunch of players sit out as well, maybe. I do know that our backup quarterback has entered the portal. So apparently the guy who last quarterbacked us in the bowl game last year wasn't given an opportunity this year to quarterback. He has already entered the portal as well. And so now it is portal season. and the bowl games have not even started yet, and we're already in the portal season. All right. Marcia asks, is Scotty home? Scotty is not home. He was home for a time yesterday. He was working in the garage, but he is not home at the present time. So there, we answered that question. Let's see here. Let's go to our daily message. A new day to love and be loved, sharing God's love with the world. We can just love, which is God's will for each of us. We can study and follow God's guidance in His scripture. Look at life and all that is happening through God's eyes, help and encourage others. Be happy and thankful in this new day. Have gratitude for being blessed this day with life, love, grace, all of God's blessings. Start our morning with God, spending a few moments with Him daily, sharing our heart's thoughts and worries. Become one with God, doing His will in everything. Help and encourage others. Give love willingly. In all situations, be happy and thankful in this new day. Be satisfied with God and His plans for us. Listen for His words of guidance, doing His will and all that He asks of us. In life, let us learn to come to Jesus with the burdens of life. Let Him refill us with the power of the Holy Spirit and the hope of salvation, for He will never turn us away. Live life in God's presence, experiencing the peacefulness of His love and grace. Realize in life we have no need to control, have no need to have resentments, anxiety, and fear. We can trust in God, surrendering our lives to Him. Each day in life, we are exposed to many different things, including joy, peace, love, grace, pain, sadness, and disappointment. Let us grow closer to God as He walks with us in all these phases of life. God's words tell us, quote, and when you draw close to God, God will draw close to you. Let your heart be filled with God alone. As we grow closer to God, let us better learn to love as He does. Be vulnerable, trusting in God, being true in our relationships. Let us daily pray and meditate. learning to better communicate with God and hear Him and be guided by Him. In prayer and meditation, God will provide us much needed information on how to live and the things we need to do. Please Him. God's blessings on your day. Much love to each of you. Yes, that is true, Scott. Unless it's for a national championship, most kids don't want to play the secondary bowl games. But yet, there is still, what is it all about? There's a lot of money. It's amazing how you see some of if I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch these bowl games, but when I would watch them, especially these lower ones where there's hardly anybody at the games, it's just like, why do they continue to play these games? It's all about money. There you go. It's all about money. It don't matter how many show up, though it's a bonus, and that's where a school like Iowa, because they usually travel so much. I don't know how much they'll travel this year, but they'll be playing down in Florida once again. A lot of people, even though the team may not be its best, a lot of people, it gives them an opportunity to go to Florida. They can see some of the other things. It's all about revenue. These cities want people to come to their towns and spend money. Maybe it goes beyond the game. Yes, they want people in the stadium, but they want people to come down. Maybe some don't go to the stadium, but they go down to reunite with other fans. Especially Iowa, they've played so many bowl games down in Florida. It gives fans an opportunity to meet up. Let's meet up in Florida again. Let's go to the Citrus Bowl. Or maybe they won't even go to the Citrus Bowl, but they'll still go down to the city. It's yeah, alums dollars. uh, but anyway, I just I used to be one, I don't know about you, but growing up, there wasn't as many bowl games. And so I always enjoyed, especially when it got to be New Year's Day, a whole day of football. You wake up in the morning, you watch a bowl game, and then you watch another one, and you can watch another one. And they went from morning to night, and you just kept flipping the station. If one game was a blowout, then you just go to another game because there used to be, it was kind of like bang, New Year's Day was exciting. The granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Steeped in tradition, Big Ten versus Pac 10. Well, there ain't much of Pac 10 anymore because the Pac 10's coming to the Big Ten. Um, I already gave you the answer, Scott. uh, and now it's all about money. You watch something like the Rose Bowl. What's the Rose Bowl going to be this year? Rose Bowl is going to be part of the tournament. And so it's going to be Michigan, the champion of the Big Ten, but it's going to be the champion of the SEC, not even the champion of the Pac 10. And then, of course, the Pac 10's kind of going away. And so, well, the Rose Bowl, maybe they'll just play it during the regular season because it seems like almost half of the Pac 10 teams are coming to the Big Ten. So you might as well just say, we'll play the Rose Bowl during the regular season. Maybe the Rose Bowl could become the championship game of the Big Ten. We're going to begin the bowl season early. The Rose Bowl is going to be the Big Ten championship game. Just a thought. Because and so next year they're going to go to 12 team playoff. And you think, well, man, that gives Iowa a better chance to get into the playoffs. No, not with the the influx of West Coast teams that are coming in next year, Iowa's going to have to get a lot better because I think Iowa's best shot for a Big Ten championship was this year. Just my opinion. All right. Memories. Where's the memories? I am looking. Oh, we got to go all the way back to 8 years ago today. There are going to be disappointments along the way, but we can't let them deny us of the greatest greatness that still lies ahead. For when something means so much to us, the setback is going to sting all the more. It may feel in this moment like a great opportunity was lost, but we must continue on remembering how we felt so we know how to respond correctly when it is our moment and see someone else struggling in the disappointment of theirs. That's pretty cool. 9 years ago today, ooh, this is a long one. It is so important to recognize that once we have found ourselves and discovered a deep love for ourselves, that we go out there and spread that gift to others. For it isn't something that we are to hold on to and keep to ourselves, as there is a big world out there, and with it, so many people that deserve to see the gifts you have and the love you possess inside. On a personal note, journey. It has been a journey for me this past year. And though experiencing a great struggle and setback in my life, I have just rediscovered who I am and opened myself up to the person I used to be as a child before the pressures of growing up, along with the pains I carried in my childhood, morphed me into a person I didn't recognize nor loved anymore. Sometimes it takes great adversity in our life to give us that proverbial wake up call. And if we handle it correctly through faith, trust, along with a whole lot of love, we can not only work our way through our difficulties, but we can press on and create a better life for not only ourselves, but forever for others. For you that have followed me since April on my daily grind, you have not only served witness to my message that has helped me progress on my walk, but you may have also found something that has helped you along the way. That is what we're supposed to do in this lifetime: help others and open ourselves to letting others help us. For you are on a journey that is not meant to be a solo voyage, and it only needs to be should you choose it to be. With that said, I share below to you a writing that was written by my new great love in my life. It is such a beautiful thing when two hearts, minds, and souls and spirits meet that have gone through such great heartache in their lives, yet have to have the fortitude to push on in their journey in hopes of falling in love again. Whoops. Now I hit it. I got to find where I'm at. While that point is so very rewarding, one must recognize that if you are still looking for that special love today, it won't just come out and grab you, but it can only be found if you keep walking ahead and keeping yourself out of the holes and ditches. For the road to great love and happiness is at times the intersection of two separate roads that collide into each other in a very magical moment. In the end, that moment can only happen if two people keep moving straight ahead on their own road, and then one day, when they least expect it, the two roads intersect. And when they do, your life will never be the same. So enjoy the words below of my love and remember and realize that there is a storybook love out there if you just keep taking one step at a time and have trust and faith that your future love is doing the same. And then I kind of shared her message. And that's what it is that if you have not yet found your true love, you keep pressing forward. And by pressing forward, you may not be at the point where your love is, and your love may not be at the point where they need to be. But if two that are meant to be together keep pressing forward, there will be a day of collision. I speak from experience. All right. Let us turn to the book of amazing stories. Oh, today is December 6th. Be easier if I bookmarked it, wouldn't it? Taking 10 rounds for the kids. Jennifer Fulford Salvano may be a petite blonde, but she is as tough as nails. This police officer from Orlando, Florida, is the kind of tough cookie you want patrolling your neighborhood. She was only out of the academy for 3 years when she was on patrol with police trainee Jason Gaynor. Shortly before 8 o'clock on the morning of May 5th, 2004, an 8-year-old called 911 to say that strangers were in the house with his mom. It wasn't their zone, but the pair sped over to back up the primary responders, two other officers. The neighborhood was in a section of Orlando that tourists headed for Disney World never see. The houses on these mean streets have windows covered with iron bars, and many are postmarked with bullet holes. When Officer Fulford Salvano pulled up, she saw a desperate woman standing on the front lawn. The woman immediately wanted to talk to the only female officer on the scene. All the time, she kept looking uh, furtively at her house while refusing to give details, even though her kids were inside. Something was suspicious. Later, the officers discovered that she was in possession of over 300 pounds of marijuana and $60,000 cash stashed away from her husband's drug sales in Jamaica. The three robbers had invaded her home for an easy heist. Suddenly, she saw the men shoving her three kids into a gold minivan in her garage. She began to scream hysterically, "My babies, my babies!" As Jennifer ran toward the van, the robbers ambushed her. She took 3 shots to her armor, but 7 more hit her in the arms, legs, and shooting hand before she could clear her holster. She went down, Knowing that there were 3 kids in the van, she managed to fire off a complete clip and reload in less than 47 seconds using her non shooting hand. One of the ambushers was instantly killed in the shootout. Another was shot in the head before the third surrendered. The firefight was like something out of an action movie. This courageous woman spent the next few days in the hospital, but earned the kudos of her fellow officers. It's no wonder that Jennifer Fulford Silvano later received a dozen honors, including the International Association of Chiefs of Police Officer of the Year Award and the U.S. Medal of Valor. But she is most proud that she saved 3 children. Jennifer's story, like all of ours, is still being written. 38 days after her hospitalization, she returned to full duty. She also married her sweetheart, a firefighter. Today, she is writing new chapters in her amazing story as a detective in the Child Abuse Unit. Jennifer reminds us that a life given for children is the noblest one of all. Every parent, grandparent, teacher, coach, mentor, scout leader, or anyone else who invests in a kid's future is as much a hero as Officer Jennifer Fulford Silvano. Wes Stafford of Compassion International puts it best. Every child you encounter is a divine appointment. Direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. Proverbs 22, verse 6. Tomorrow's story is the FBI's greatest blunder. If you want to hear about the FBI's greatest blunder, it's not today. The FBI's had some great blunders. But it looks like this one, I don't know. We'll have to see tomorrow. All right, let's get into our reading for today. We're going to continue on in Old Testament reading. Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, O people of Israel. The Lord has brought charges against you, saying, there is no faithfulness, no kindness, no knowledge of God in your land. You make vows and break them. You kill and steal and commit adultery. There is violence everywhere, one murder after another. That is why your land is in mourning, and everyone is wasting away. Even the wild animals, the bird of the sky, and the fish of the sea are also disappearing. Don't point your finger at someone else and try to pass the blame. My complaint, you priests, is with you. So you will stumble in broad daylight, and your false prophets will fall with you in the night. And I will destroy Israel, your mother. My people are being destroyed because they don't know me. Since you priests refuse to know me, I refuse to recognize you as my priests. Since you have forgotten the laws of your God, and what it speaks to me is another reason why it is so important to be in a personal relationship with God and not to rely on another. Because in the end, You can't pass the blame off onto others. We've talked about that. You stand before God the Father one day, it's going to be about what you did, what choices you made. You can talk to God and you can say, "Well, I was misled by this church or this man." But in the end, God could say, "Well, if you were in a closer relationship with me, you would have heard when I was telling you to get out of that church, get away from that person." The more priests there are, the more they sin against me. They have exchanged the glory of God for the shame of idols. When the people bring their sin offerings, the priests get fed. So the priests are glad when people sin. And what the priests do, the people also do. So now I will punish both priests and people for their wicked deeds. They will eat and still be hungry. They will play the prostitute and gain nothing from it, for they have deserted the Lord to worship other gods. God, little gods, little g. Wine has robbed my people of their understanding. They ask a piece of wood for advice. They think a stick can tell them about the future. Longing after idols has made them foolish. They have played the prostitute, serving other gods and deserting their God. They offer sacrifices to idols on the mountaintops. So if I bring up the Kansas City Chiefs, what are your thoughts? Uh, the world is caught up with who's at the game. And of course, we know the players are at the game, but what does it matter? Who else? Because the thing is that I went to a Kansas City Chiefs game some years ago, and nobody gave a rip that I was at the game. But for some reason, if certain people show up to the game, it's important. Is that part of the idolizing that still goes on today? Who cares whether she's at the game or not? I kind of make it a joke now because now everybody's got to follow. Is she at the game or isn't she at the game? Who cares? They go up into the hills to burn incense in the pleasant shade of oaks, poplars, and terebinth trees. That is why your daughters turn to prostitution and your daughters in law commit adultery. But why should I punish them for their prostitution and adultery? For your men are doing the same thing, sinning with whores and shrine prostitutes. O foolish people, you refuse to understand, so you will be destroyed. Though you, Israel, are a prostitute, may Judah not be guilty of such things. Do not join the false worship at Gilgal or Beth Aven, and do not take oaths there in the Lord's name. Israel is stubborn, like a stubborn heifer. So should the Lord feed her like a lamb in a lush pasture? Leave Israel alone because she is married to idolatry. When the rulers of Israel finish their drinking, off they go to find some prostitutes. They love to shame more than honor. So a mighty wind will sweep them away. Their sacrifices to idols will bring them shame. Hear this, you priests. Pay attention, you leaders of Israel. Listen, you members of the royal family. Judgment has been handed down against you, for you have led the people into a snare by worshiping the idols at Mizpah and Tabor. You have dug a deep pit to trap them at Acacia Grove. But I will settle with you for what you have done. I know what you are like, O Ephraim. You cannot hide yourself from me, O Israel. You have left me as a prostitute leaves her husband. You are utterly defiled. Your deeds won't let you return to your God. You are a prostitute through and through, and you do not know the Lord. The arrogance of Israel testifies against her. Israel and Ephraim will stumble under their load of guilt. Judah, too, will fall with them. When they come with their flocks and herds to offer sacrifice to the Lord, they will not find him because he has withdrawn from them. They have betrayed the honor of the Lord, bearing children that are not his. Now their false religion will devour them along with their wealth. Sound the alarm in Gibeah. Blow the trumpet in Ramah. Raise the battle cry in Beth Aven. Lead on into battle, O warriors of Benjamin. One thing is certain, Israel. On your day of punishment, you will become a heap of rubble. The leaders of Judah have become like thieves, so I will pour my anger on them like a waterfall. The people of Israel will be crushed and broken by my judgment because they are determined to worship idols. I will destroy Israel as a moth consumes wool. I will make Judah as weak as rotten wood. When Israel and Judah saw how sick they were, Israel turned to Assyria, to the great king there. But he could neither help nor cure them. I will be like a lion to Israel, like a strong young lion to Judah. I will tear them to pieces. I will carry them off, and no one will be left to rescue them. Then I will return to my place until they admit their guilt and turn to me. For as soon as trouble comes, they will earnestly search for me. We now go into the New Testament reading, 2 John chapter 1, verse 1. This letter is from John the elder. I am writing to the chosen lady and to her children, whom I love in the truth, as does everyone else who knows the truth, because the truth lives in us and will be with us forever. Grace, mercy, and peace, which come from God the Father and from Jesus Christ, the Son of the Father, will continue to be with us who live in truth and love. How happy I was to meet some of your children and find them living according to the truth, just as the Father commanded. I am writing to remind you, dear friends, that we should love one another. This is not a new commandment, but one we have had from the beginning. Love means doing what God has commanded us, and He has commanded us to love one another, just as you heard from the beginning. I say this because many deceivers have gone out into the world. They deny that Jesus Christ came in a real body. Such a person is a deceiver and an antichrist. Watch out that you do not lose what we have worked so hard to achieve. Be diligent so that you receive your full reward. Anyone who wanders away from this teaching has no relationship with God. But anyone who remains in the teaching of Christ has a relationship with both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to your meeting and does not teach the truth about Christ, don't invite that person into your home or give any kind of encouragement. Anyone who encourages such people becomes a partner in their evil work. I have much more to say to you, but I don't want to do it with paper and ink. For I hope to visit you soon and talk with you face to face. Then our joy will be complete. Greetings from the children of your sister, chosen by God. Psalm 125, verses 1 through 5. Those who trust in the Lord are as secure as Mount Zion. They will not be defeated, but will endure forever. Just as the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people both now and forever. The wicked will not rule the land of the godly, for then the godly might be tempted to do wrong. O Lord, do good to those who are good, whose hearts are in tune with you. But banish those who turn to crooked ways, O Lord. Take them away with those who do evil. May Israel have peace. Proverbs 29, verses 9 through 11. If a wise person takes a fool to court, they will be ranting and ridicule, but no satisfaction. The bloodthirsty hate blameless people, but the upright seek to help them. Fools vent their anger, but the wise quietly hold it back. And that is the end of our reading for today. I think we've got time for a bonus story today. Whoops. Book of Amazing Stories. Another cup of tea. Couple more crumpets. And let's go to October 15th. The man who volunteered for Auschwitz. Inmate 4859 was one of those cursed souls doomed to Auschwitz. But unlike the others consigned to this camp of horrors, Witold Pilecki volunteered for the assignment. As a cavalryman, he earned the Polish Cross of Valor twice. After the German conquest of Poland, this hero continued to lead partisan guerrillas in an underground fight against the Nazi occupation. In 1940, the Gestapo rounded up several of his resistant fighters and sent them to Auschwitz. At the time, little was known about the Nazi concentration camps. So Pilecki volunteered to get sent to Auschwitz to gather intelligence. So he allowed himself to be arrested. He was brutally beaten, tortured, and then hauled off to the camp. As inmate 4859, he suffered stomach ailments, typhus, pneumonia, infestations of lice, back-breaking labor in extreme weather, soup crawling with worms, and unspeakable cruelty at the hands of sadistic guards. Yet he managed to put together a resistance organization in the camp and gather incriminating of evidence of mass genocide while avoiding detection by 7,000 SS personnel. His reports of the atrocities in Auschwitz were smuggled out to Warsaw and then on to London. Sadly, the Allies did not believe the gassing of more than 1 million Jews could be taking place. When he broadcasts on a jury-rigged radio from inside the camp, the world heard the Holocaust for the first time. Until the day he died, Pilecki could never get over the fact that the Allies failed to bomb the railroad tracks on which death trains traveled or destroyed the gas chambers and crematories at Auschwitz. When the Gestapo closed in, inmate 4859 became one of the few prisoners to escape from the death camp. His detailed reports estimate that 1.5 million Jews would be gassed by March of 1943. He begged both the English and the Russians to help his partisans liberate the camp, but they showed no interest. After the war, he continued his armed resistance against the Soviet occupation of Poland, smuggling out reports of their atrocities. On May 8, 1947, he was captured. Before his trial, KGB operatives subject him to severe torture. He said to his wife, compared to them, Auschwitz was just a trifle. He refused to reveal the identity of his comrades or confess to the crimes at his show trial. On May 25, 1948, Witold Pilecki was taken from his cell and shot in the back of the head. It would be some 50 years later, after the fall of communism, before the amazing story of inmate 4859 would be told. His 100-page report on what took place in Auschwitz forever shuts the mouths of Holocaust deniers. If all heroes are shadows of Jesus Christ, then Pilecki's willingness to go into that Nazi death camp to rescue the doomed surely recalls Christ volunteering to come to earth and descending into hell to save a world of cursed people. May we, like Witold Pilecki, be willing to enter into the suffering of others to bring about their redemption. Inmate 4859 might agree with St. Augustine. It was pride that changed angels into devils. It is humility that makes men as angels. He humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross. Philippians chapter 2, verse 8. Now I've got to consult my calendar. What was October 16th? Excuse me while I do some. October 16th was a Monday, so we can skip ahead to October 21st. So then our next bonus story is October 21st, which is titled The Man Who Fell to Earth. That's the next time we have a bonus story. For today, let's wrap up this Wednesday, December 6th, 2023, with a prayer. As pilgrims approached Jerusalem, they sang, O Lord, do good to those who are good, whose hearts are in tune with you. Psalm 125, verse 4, a song of hope and of promise. Even while sitting in dark prison cells, languishing in refugee camps, or fleeing through dense jungles, persecuted Christians have experienced that suffering cannot diminish God's goodness to them. Lord, thank you that your goodness surrounds your children. May each hear your voice and accomplish the work you have for them. And may I hear and immediately respond to your voice today. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I like that. May each hear your voice and accomplish the work you have for them. And then it becomes personalized. And may I hear and immediately respond to your voice today. It's all about a personal relationship with him. It's not going through and, God loves it when we follow his commandments, his laws, his rules. But bottom line is that some can go through the motions and not know God. They feel like if they follow all his commandments, that makes them good. But the problem is following all his commandments then makes it like we are good with him because of what we're doing. But what we must understand it is that we are good not because of what we're doing, but because of what he has already done for us. And it's through understanding that, along with a continued relationship with him, that we will better understand him, we will hear him, we listen, and we do what we're called to do until we go home. There are some, like I said, that are just going through the motions. They feel like if they do what they're supposed to do, what God has commanded them to do, all will be good. Yeah, God likes it when we do what we're supposed to do. But then, like I said before, it all becomes about us then. And it's not to be all about us, but all about him. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful day. And God willing, we'll be back with you again come tomorrow morning. Until then.